Like she mentioned, my name is Patrick, a community manager at LusioRehab. And today I'll give you a bit of a background about Lusio and just show you guys a short interactive demo about our tech and how you can use it to make physical therapy fun, whether you're doing it like in clinic or at home for your in-person rehab. So to begin with, I just have a short 2-minute video just to give you guys an introduction about our tech and show you guys the different ways you can use it. Then after that, I'm gonna go on with my demo and we'll have questions after that. Cheers.
Alrighty, so I have the screen here. Cool. Everyone can see this? Yep, cool. All right, let's hope you can hear it too.
LusioMate is a wearable gaming controller that fits almost anywhere on the body and motivates players to do their physical therapy exercises and achieve movement goals in a fun and engaging way, whilst playing any of the varied styles of games that we have created and will continue to create with the LusioMate gaming therapy platform. We are super proud that our clients range in age from 4 to 94 with varied personal need to move, including cerebral palsy, stroke, Parkinson's, chronic pain, traumatic brain injury, and spinal injury. LusioMate is compact and portable, meaning that our clients can use it in clinics or hospitals, at home independently, or via Zoom or telehealth, or on the go when they travel. All it requires is the Bluetooth Lusio sensors, an internet connection, and a smart device. And also, all activity is easily monitored remotely by clinicians. And the sky's the limit as regards the scope with which LusioMate can be used to help achieve movement goals, as we love to work closely with clients to help ensure that their unique movement goal needs are met. For most people, physical therapy can be boring and hard to fit into everyday life. Our mission is to change that by making physical therapy fun, engaging, accessible, and easily measurable for clinicians, players, and families alike. LusioMate, making physical therapy fun.
All right, Patrick, back over to you.
Yep, cheers, thanks. So that was just a short introductory video just to give you guys an idea of the different settings in which LusioMate can be used and just how we try to make physical therapy fun for individuals. So just like was mentioned in the introduction, the goal, our mission for Lusio is to try and help increase adherence to therapy. That's the problem which we're trying to solve, because we know that globally adherence to physical therapy is as low as 15%. And sometimes different individuals are not motivated to do their rehab, whatever that might be, whether individuals are recovering from work injuries, individuals who might have a bone or quad disability, different individuals are not as motivated to do rehab. So our solution was LusioMate, which is 2 wearable sensors. So I'll just show you guys. So the 2 wearable sensors come with straps, and essentially you can attach this to any body part to work on different unique movement tailored to an individual. So this can be both gross motor movements or fine motor movements. And we just have an app which can be downloaded on any iOS or Android device. So it can be on your mobile phone, on an iPad or tablet. And essentially you have therapy in your pocket. So the idea is to reduce. Yep. The idea is just to reduce the boundary.
Thanks. Sorry, I didn't catch your name. Emma. Pleased to chat with you, Emma.
Someone's forgotten to mute themselves.
Yes. Yeah, we need to just, I think it's Bill. I'm just trying to find him here so I can mute. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I muted him. It's fine.
Okay. Thanks, Tom. Sorry, Patrick. Over to you again.
Yep. Thanks. Yeah. Just like I was saying, the idea is to reduce the boundary in which individuals can do their therapy and make it fun. So what we deliver to individuals is just a small LusioMate pack. So it comes in a small pack like this. This gets delivered to you. You can download the device on your mobile device. It can be on your mobile phone or iPad. And on the app, we have over 25 different games. And I'm just going to briefly show you guys how all that works, how easy it is to set up LusioMate for your various therapy goals. So with LusioMate, you can customize individuals' unique movement goals. And how we do this is by connecting individuals to their clinical team. So if you have a physiotherapist, an occupational therapist, exercise physiologist, whoever's part of your clinical team, we connect them to your Lusio account, and then they can tailor and create custom-made physical therapy movement goals, where they are working on gross motor movements or fine motor movements. Your clinician is able to tailor those unique movement goals to yourself. And I'm just going to briefly show you guys how all that is done on the platform. So I just have the app over here on my iPad and sharing it to the screen over here. But essentially, once you have an account, you can create a new movement goal. So just click on the Create New Goal button. And our app is very interactive. So depending on what the movement goal is, if I'm working on movement goal to work on my wrist joint or shoulder joint, we have a robot mirror image over here, and you can simply select on the joint which you're working on. So I'll just click on the wrist. And as we do that, it brings up the different movements you can do at a particular joint. So as you can see on the wrist joint over here, there's a different movement you can do at the arm. There's an extension flexion, moving your wrist left and right. And let's say as part of my therapy goal, I want to work on opening and closing my grip for my hand. So I'm just going to click on that extension flexion goal. I click next. Then over here, my clinician would be able to customize that movement goal for me. So what are the number of reps I want to do for this particular goal? How many minutes am I going to be working on this? And remotely, my clinician is able to create all this for me in the back end. So I'm just going to customize and create that new goal over there. I'll just say 5 minutes and 20 reps. Then at the bottom there, you can give the goal a title. So this title can really be anything. You can really make it fun for yourself. So if my goal is to learn how to ride a bike or pick up a pen, pick up a cup, you can make that goal really cool and relevant to a particular individual. So I'll just title my goal wrist movement. However, before I jump on, we also have a very interactive feature here. It's called forgiveness. So for individuals who might have a spasticity or any other like involuntary movements, we have a forgiveness feature, which is just a percentage. And essentially, it allows the sensors to pick up any inaccuracies in movement, meaning despite any individual not having a movement which is as accurate as possible, I'll use the wrist extension flexion as an example. Maybe if I might have some spasticity or any involuntary movement, you can use the forgiveness feature over there. And it just allows the sensors to pick up whatever movement I might have in my wrist, despite it not being as accurate. So again, that's another tool which clinicians or individuals can use in the clinic, and which can help individuals or clients who might have any of those involuntary movements. So once we set up our goal, we've set up our number of reps, the time that we want to work on it. I'm just going to click add. And once I add the goal over here, as you can see, this is the main dashboard on the Lusio platform. So just like a few things to note over here. Just at the bottom here, it says recommended games. So on our platform, we have over 25 different games in which we've developed. And these games vary in style. Other games are good for single joint movements. Other games are good for movement control. So essentially, individuals have the freedom to select any of their favorite games, and they would do their different therapy movements. So for individuals who are new to the platform, we have different games which we recommend. And these are the ones that you can see over here. However, when I click on the More Games button, just to show you guys, I have over 25 different games on the platform which we've developed. So usually we find sometimes different individuals might have a favorite game, and that's what gets them to do their therapy. Or sometimes the clinical team might recommend certain games which are better for certain movements. So different clients or individuals who get the LusioMate platform and sensors have the freedom to select any of the games. And this way they'll be able to do whatever their therapy movement is in a fun way. So the cool thing about the LusioMate assistive tech is that as individuals work on their different movement goals, whatever those are, the sensors are able to pick up some data in the back end, which is useful to clinical teams. So this data includes range of motion, average data. It includes number of reps individuals are working on that particular goal, but also how much time an individual is working on that particular goal. And the idea is as individuals work on their different movement goals, wherever they are in the world, the clinical team can stay in touch with them and can see this data in real time as they perform their different movement goals, just to track on how an individual is going. And over time, you can see the changes in that. So I'm just going to quickly show you just some of the data which the sensors pick up. So I'll just click on the graph there. And as individuals work on their different movement goals, they get trophies for accomplishing them. So let's say I complete my 5 reps on my wrist movement goal. I get a trophy for accomplishing that. If I click on the next tab over here, like I mentioned, the sensors collect data as you're automatically doing these goals. So you don't have to think about counting the reps or how much long you're working on that particular goal, because the sensors are automatically picking that up for you. And your clinician is able to see all this information in real time. Then just the third graph here is a range of motion average graph. So again, over time, your clinician, your clinical team is able to see the changes in that particular movement. And again, this is just information which might be helpful to make clinical decisions or just keep track on how you're going with whatever movement goal that you're working on. So this is just some of the data which the sensors are collecting the back end. And as a user, you don't have to worry about all of this because your clinical team is connected in real time and it's very interactive. So maybe next, I might just show you guys just a simple movement goal and just show you guys how easy it is to set up a movement goal on the platform. So I'll just jump into one of the games, basketball. And as that loads, all the different games on our platform have 3 difficulty levels. There's easy, medium, and hard. So the higher you go up in difficulty, the more cognitively challenging the game might get. So again, we have different levels to help individuals at varying levels of skill. So if I go on easy, I can go on medium, I can go on hard. And depending on the game which I select, objects might start coming into the game, things might get a bit faster. But again, I'll have a few different difficulties for individuals to select. We also have a few inclusive features. At the bottom there, we have an option for individuals who might have color blindness or any vision impairments. And it's just a few settings that change the contrast on the screen for different individuals. So if I have any vision impairments, I can select that. And that's just another intuitive feature that we have on the platform. And I'm gonna jump into easy. So over here, this is the movement setup screen that we have on the Lusio. So just a few things to note before I set this up is LusioMate is a class 1 medical device. So it's assistive technology that's intended for therapeutic use. And that's the difference between LusioMate or other gaming platforms that you might be aware of, such as Nintendo Wii, etc. So this is actually a class 1 medical device that's intended for therapeutic use. And the difference with Lusio is that you can specify any movements particular to an individual, and it's able to pick up range of motion within 5 to 10 degrees. So once we come to this movement setup screen, I selected a wrist movement goal. So we get the 2 sensors. So depending on the goal that you're working on, you can strap the sensors accordingly to the body part that you're working on. In this case, it's going to be my wrist. So I'll have one sensor and just strap it around my wrist. So we always have a fixed sensor. So one sensor goes above my wrist joint, and the second sensor is just going to go below my wrist joint. And the idea with the LusioMate sensors is that they pick up the movement between each other. So as I'm working on my wrist movement goal, the sensors pick up the movement between each other, and that's how they get the data. So let's say I was working on another movement goal. Let's say I'm doing a shoulder movement or a lower body movement. I can strap the sensors accordingly, and that way the sensors pick up the movement between each other. So when it comes to setting up movement goals, we have two features. There's an automatic one and a manual one. I'll begin by showing you guys the automatic one. On the automatic option, you ask an individual to repeat whichever movement they're working on. In this case, my wrist movement. So as I move my wrist up and down, I'm doing my wrist extension flexion. The sensors are automatically picking up the range of motion I have in the back end. And as you can see, the robot mirror is repeating what I'm doing, and the sensors have picked up whatever range I had in my arms, in my wrist over there. So that way, whether any individual has very minimal movement or a larger movement, they can just repeat that particular movement, and the sensors will pick that up. But we also have a manual option, which clinical teams might find useful, because on the manual option, it allows individuals to customize the range in which you want a person to work with. So sometimes this might be for various reasons. Maybe your clinical team might want to challenge you because maybe you're progressing well with your rehab and they want you to work within a particular range, or maybe you have pain past a certain degree of range of motion. So the manual option just allows you to customize the range of motion in which you're working in. And how that works is you just set up the start and end position. So again, using my wrist as an example, hold my wrist here at neutral, that will be my start position.
Oh, sorry, Patrick, I think you're on mute. There we go.
Yep, awesome. So as I customize my wrist movement to this particular range, the sensors have picked up my wrist movement within this range of motion. And once all this is set up, this is how I'm going to engage with the game. So this looks good. I'm all set up. I can jump into my favorite game. And as you can see with this particular game on the screen on the hand, I'm working on my wrist movement, which in this case is just opening my wrist up and down. And as I'm doing this, the idea is to get and shoot the ball. So as an individual using this platform, I'm focused on accomplishing the task of getting and shooting the ball. However, as I'm doing this movement, the sensors are automatically picking up the number of reps in which I'm working on. They're picking up my range of motion data. They're also picking up how long I'm spending on this particular task. So individuals are focused on completing the functional task while having fun with this particular game. And my clinical team is able to see all this data in real time. The idea with the LusioMate sensors is for individuals to work on the specific therapy movement they're working on. So if I move my wrist from left to right, you're going to see the sensors don't pick that up. So we're trying to encourage individuals to work on the correct movement in which they got set up with on the previous screen. So this was just a simple example of how you can set up an individual with a specific movement that's tailor-made for themselves to do their particular therapy. And that way they can engage with it through one of the different games on the app. Just to wrap up, I might just give you guys a few examples of different movements that our clients might use. So the good thing about the LusioMate sensors is they're very intuitive and you can really make it functional to an individual. So we have clients who work on functional tasks such as riding a bike. Other people might work on functional tasks such as eating. So the cool thing about the LusioMate sensors is you can actually include real world objects and set an individual up in such a way that they're doing whatever functional task they want to get good at, and they would engage with that and do that through one of our games. And how that works is, let's say I have a bit of a 1 kilo dumbbell over here, and let's say I want to include a bit of strength because I want to work on my wrist extension flexion movement. I would easily just strap the moving sensor to the actual functional object I'm working on, set myself up as I did on the previous screen, and that way I'm working on a functional task. In this case, adding a bit of strength. Let's say I'm working on my lifting, and this way I'm going to set myself up to do this through one of our interactive games. So we have clients as young as 3 who have cerebral palsy, other core disabilities. Our oldest client is about 93, individuals with stroke or recovering from work rehab, and even just other individuals who want to make their exercise or workouts fun. Anybody across age or diagnosis is able to use the LusioMate platform to help make their therapy fun. And the idea is to increase adherence. And while they're doing that, wherever they're at home or they're in the clinic, their clinical team is able to see all this data in real time and essentially increasing the value-based care for any individuals who use our platform or assistive technology. So yeah, that was just like a brief summary on how you can use the LusioMate platform, how you can set it up for different movement goals, whether it's gross motor or fine motor movements. So from here, I'm happy to take on questions that any of you guys in the audience might have.
Patrick, thanks a million. That was a great presentation and a great way of making therapy fun, you know, through technology. So there is a question here to start from Karen, and it said, Patrick, is there an audio version for visually impaired clients?
So at the moment with the LusioMate platform, we have, it's just the one app which you can get on any iOS and Android device. So as individuals work on the different movement goals, there is some audio feedback. I just had that on mute. However, we're always updating the app every 6 to 8 weeks, and we're developing the platform to make it more inclusive for different users. And how that process works is we always get feedbacks from our direct clients or direct individuals such as yourselves, and also the clinical team. And every 6 to 8 weeks, we're updating the features on the platform. So if you come on board, the LusioMate is always evolving, and every time we're always adding features to make it more inclusive. But at the moment, it's just the one app, and you do get some audio feedback as you engage the game. But like I mentioned, we're always developing the platform and trying to make it more inclusive for different users who might want to use it.
Wonderful. Thanks, Patrick. Does anybody else have any questions? I see one from David Nelson. What has the take-up been like, Patrick?
Yeah, so yeah, the take-up with Lusio, it's been an amazing journey. So we went commercial in 2019, which was just before the pandemic. And the cool thing about the LusioMate is because of COVID, individuals are not able to go in clinic to do their particular rehab. So it just saw like an acceleration in people trying to find different tools for people to use to do like rehab. And because we're like in the assistive technology space, our tech can allow clinical teams to be connected with their clients remotely. So we saw a great uptake, especially during the pandemic. And we have roughly about 3,000 users in a global client base. So we have different users in the different states in Australia. And this includes direct individuals. It includes private physio, OT clinics, or large public hospitals, but also overseas in the US and Europe. So we've seen a great uptake, especially after the pandemic. And now, yeah, we have global client base and users using LusioMate all over the world. So yeah, it's been great. And it's just a testament to see how assistive technology can be used just to shorten the gap between in-clinic therapy and at-home therapy without reducing the quality of that therapy. So yeah, the uptake has been great over the last few years.
Very good. There's another question from Kirk. Is it possible to use the product without the internet, as some of our clients do not have access to the internet at home?
Yes, that's right. So with the LusioMate platform, initially you need an internet connection just to be able to log in. However, we have a few games which you can access offline. So if you don't have an internet connection, there's a few games you can access offline. However, you just need an internet connection for you to be able to log into the platform. So yeah, so internet connection for you to be able to log into the platform. Then afterwards, you can set that up and you can use it while offline.
Unreal. Thanks, Patrick. Are there any more questions online or in New South Wales or in the TAD Lab in New South Wales or Victoria? Henry, see you have your hand up. I think you're on mute.
Yeah, thanks. I found the right thing to click. What's the cost of the thing, and is it available through NDIS funding?
Yes, that's right. So with LusioMate, individuals can fund this through NDIS and other insurers. So we have two options in which an individual can have access to the LusioMate. The first one is a subscription or trial. So with the subscription, you get the tech delivered to you and you have access to it for 3 months. That's at $357. So LusioMate is a low-cost, low-risk under NDIS. So you can either do the trial option where you get the device delivered to you. You have access to it for 3 months at $357. Then you have the option to continue with that trial while paying quarterly every 3 months for the $357. However, if you love LusioMate and would love to purchase it outright, we also have another option where you can purchase the technology for $1,500. So once you do the purchase, you own the LusioMate sensors, you own them outrightly forever. Then the only ongoing cost is a software license, which you pay once a year. And that software license is $348. And essentially what that gives you is just all the updates and new features we're bringing onto the platform every 6 to 8 weeks. And this can also be funded for through NDIS. So you can either do the subscription or trial, which is $357 for 3 months, or if you love it, you can purchase the sensors outright and you own them, and that's $1,500 plus a software license, which you pay at $348 annually.
So how many sensors do you get with that?
Yeah, so it's a pair of sensors. Pair. So what you get is you get the pack, the LusioMate pack.
Yeah.
And it's a pair of sensors that essentially you can set them up to do any movements. So that's 2 sensors.